So I'm almost done with the Saitama vs. Monster God fan series, but this series has been pretty heavily criticized, and I want to talk about some of the complaints, explain my rationale between certain choices that I've taken on this series. And this video will have major spoilers for all of the series. If you haven't seen it yet and you're waiting to watch it until, like, let's say it's done, you probably don't want to watch this video because it will spoil a lot of things. But there's only one episode left, so let's talk about the elephant in the room in the beginning, which is, why is it not animated? So I know it's peculiar as the first episode is an animation, although I call it a fan edit more than anything, and then the rest have switched to manga format. This is actually like the first time I've really done any sort of fan manga or animated manga on the channel. So first, let me say that this is kind of just like a big experiment. This is also the first time I've worked with Midnight, who is a team of artists. They've done all of the art, with the exception of Draw Smile, did some beautiful double-page spreads. But fan manga seem to do pretty well on YouTube. They seem to be pretty resistant to copyright. They seem to be pretty entertaining to a lot of the fan base because the source material is in manga format. So if I did the first episode in animation, why didn't I continue the whole series like that? I've explained this like a million times on my channel before, but the animation is just simply, it's too difficult, too time consuming, and if I want to hire animators, it's too expensive. And that's why at the end of the first episode, I said, if you guys want to continue this in animation format, I need to hit 1,000 patrons, which comes out to about $10,000 a month. And while that might sound like a lot of money, animators usually charge like anywhere from $20 to $80 per second. And so most people don't realize like just how expensive and time consuming it is. The first episode, I didn't do like that. I just repurposed old footage. I colored Murata manga panels, and I made it as easy on myself as possible to make it a thing. But even with that, it was still like just really brutal for me to make. Whichever direction I take with it, people are just going to complain. Like, people are just going to be upset. If I do it my traditional way, the fan film way, obviously I get the same criticism that I did with Anime War. If I dull down the art style so that it's easier to animate, like let's say just do one gradient of shading, then I'll absolutely get complaints that the art needs to be better. I could potentially do it in just all black and white, but then it loses a lot of the whole feel of the project. In any case, the expectation is just so tremendously high, and they think that I should be able to, because I have 3 million subscribers, I should be able to somehow replicate what animation studios do. And they don't understand that the simple task of like creating any animation on YouTube, like let's say 10 minutes long, is absolutely crazy. It's pretty much unhinged and really shouldn't exist. Like, full episodes of anime are not meant to be made by one person. It's like trying to make a Marvel movie by yourself. It's just really not feasible at all unless you have a full team who's ready to work on it for years for free, like Dragon Ball Deliverance, or you have a genius who has worked himself into health problems like E. Toylek. But these are like very rare circumstances on YouTube, and not everybody can do that. I know what people like from me. They like the anime style episodes, like Anime War and the first episode people enjoyed, but it's just impossible, guys. Like, it's impossibly difficult. It's tremendously expensive and time consuming. I could easily spend every dollar I have on an episode, and then it just gets taken down in the click of a button by Shueisha. It's just simply not worth it at the end of the day to invest that much amount of time, money, and resources and health into a fan-made episode that only makes like $1,000 back after I spent 50 grand and killed myself doing it. Like, it's just not reasonable at all to make anime style animation. There's some types of animations that work pretty well on YouTube, like parodies work very well. And honestly, like, that's probably what I should be doing with animation. Like, I should just be doing 1 or 2 minute videos that are parodies making a mockery of the show. It's more legal, it's easier on you, it's funnier, so, you know, there's a lot of benefits to it. But I know what people like from me. Like, they like the actual anime style full episodes. To me, the only real way to do that is either you get the Patreon up super high so you can hire a team of animators, or you take all sorts of shortcuts like I did for Anime War and the first episode. Long story short, full-fledged anime created by one person on YouTube is basically impossible unless you take all sorts of shortcuts. And people need to stop having the expectation that YouTube creators have to do this to appease you. And I guess a lot of that is my problem because I gave you 12 episodes of Anime Wars, so the expectation is that every video I put out should be like a 30-minute episode. But I'm not going through that again, guys. I spent 5 years on that project. It took me an entire year for the final episode, and then it was taken down in 3 hours. And I got health problems from making that series that I still haven't recovered from. So like, I'm not doing that anymore. I need to find other solutions, other ways to create content. And manga format is one of them. It's a way to tell the story while giving visual examples, original art, and new ideas. It's not cheating. And I was hoping that people would appreciate this more. But there's a lot of criticism over it. And so if the series gets popular and the Patreon gets up, I'll absolutely hire animators to animate it. Otherwise, this is pretty much the best I can do at this point. And to be honest, I'm very proud of how quickly we were able to put this together. So if you still don't understand like why people can't do full-fledged anime episodes on YouTube every day for you guys, like I swear I get comments like, oh, you got to make it 1 hour long. Like, you know, I'll spend an entire year on an episode and they're just like, okay, when's the next episode? Don't make me wait long. And it's just like, damn, dude. But this is also kind of like the current state of YouTube. To beat YouTube's algorithm today, you need to be putting out like 3 videos a week that are minimum 17 minutes long. And that's just physically impossible with animation. With manga format, I mean, we put out 2 episodes this week and both are like 12, 13 minutes long. So that's getting up there. And that's part of just me trying to adapt to YouTube's new rules and algorithms is they want a lot of very long, very high quality content every week. And it's just not built for animation, guys. Like plain and simple, if you're gonna make any type of animation on YouTube, that you're really just doing it out of pure passion. And to be honest, like the first episode of this, I really just did out of pure passion. I just wanted something fun for One Punch Man fans to watch while the series was kind of falling apart and going on hiatus. This entire project was really just a fun project. I'm not coming out here trying to tell you I'm a better writer than One or I'm a better artist than Murata. Like I never even remotely close came to saying anything like that. I'm just a huge fan of One Punch Man. I wanted to do something nice for the community, and that's really like the whole reason I'm making this. And the whole reason I keep pushing the Patreon is because I know how much people want animation, but I gotta pay animators and they're not cheap. It's really just that simple. So, okay, let's talk about the next criticism, which is the voice acting, or the voices could be better. There's a couple ways of doing this. One, I could just have the panels and I could narrate it with no voicing. So like I'm trying to do something new here where I both narrate it and just do some pseudo voice acting. I was just trying to give it like more of a feel to bring it to life. But if you hire voice actors, they cost money, probably not as much as animators, but they still cost money, and it's a lot of extra work. So essentially the videos will take longer to come out. And I do agree that having voice actors for this would be awesome. And if we do turn it into an animation one day, I'll definitely hire voice actors. But again, with the current state of YouTube, like I feel like people expect me to invest $10,000 in every video that's only going to make $1,000 back in ad revenue. It's just not feasible, not applicable here on YouTube. We have to just do what we can to even produce the content. And I get it, guys. I remember the first time I saw a fan manga where the YouTube channel was both narrating it and voice acting it, and I kind of cringed. But those videos do really well. And actually, for the Demon Rush finale, I just showed the panels with sound effects with no voiceover. And the comments are like, there needs to be voiceover. You need to narrate it. I'm like, okay. So then for my main channel, I did it in English, and the comments are like, I don't like the narration. I don't like the voiceover. It's peculiar, man. Like, I really can't win these days. No matter what I do, people always complain that it needs to be another way. And so I'm just going to be doing the best that I can. I feel like simply narrating it with some minor voiceover from myself, it's just meant to help bring it alive. Again, remember, guys, this is a fan-made project. It's literally made for fun. I'm not making any money on this. All the Patreon money is literally going to the art team. I understand the criticism. I know you wish it could be better, but I wish I had $1 billion in the bank. Like, I feel like sometimes maybe I'm punished for my subscriber count. People's expectations are just that everything should be this super high quality perfection, anime studio level grade. And if it's not, then I just get tons of complaints. And so if you guys really don't like the voice acting and the narration, just mute the video and you can just simply watch all the panels without any sound. And I do also plan on, when this series is done, which will be very soon, posting the whole thing as an actual manga. I'll probably post it on like the One Punch Man Reddit and Pixiv so people can just simply read it. But I want to do the videos first. Okay, now let's talk about the final piece of criticism is the writing. I feel like the writing for this final battle between Saitama versus the Monster God was a bit of a challenge because whichever way you go, you're going to lose. If Saitama can't take any damage from the Monster God and he just one-shots him, well, that's like super boring. If the Monster God can hurt Saitama, then people are going to be like, well, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense. Saitama doesn't bleed. If the Monster God isn't a challenge, it's boring. But if he's a challenge, then it's incorrect. And also, you're talking about a multi-dimensional being that can exist like outside of reality. So you're going to have to start creating all sorts of like multi-dimensional god powers, which, to be honest, I think I did a pretty darn good job with. Multiverse imploding fist, 6-dimensional hexaract prison, particle deleting laser, etc., etc. These abilities I actually put a lot of research into to try and figure out what kind of abilities a god of this level would actually have. And until this most recent episode, Saitama did not take any damage, although his suit was burned off. But in the most recent chapter, God uses his final trump card, which is to erase all abilities in the multiverse, including his own and Saitama's. And this works even though when he pointed at Saitama and said the being known as Saitama shall not exist, and it didn't work. But when he pointed at Saitama and said all of our powers are erased, it did work. Well, what's the explanation for that? So I've seen tons and tons of comments on the most recent chapter about that, and people are saying that Saitama doesn't have any powers, he just broke his limiter, which I don't really agree with. I don't think a human breaking their limiter could ever turn into Saitama. It's pretty apparent to me that there's something more going on here than just a human breaking their limiter. Humans do have limits in your body. Like, you have a strength limit so that you don't use too much of your muscles that they literally rip. So if you broke your limiter, it's really just about being able to activate the full extent of your body, even if it causes damage to you. Like, in reality, that's what breaking your limiter actually is. But I believe that there's something more going on here with Saitama. I think that it's some sort of divine intervention. And the reason that God was able to erase Saitama's powers is because this monster god created the entire multiverse as we know it of One Punch Man. That includes Earth and everyone on it. In this story, everyone's powers essentially come from God. This is actually a theory in One Punch Man because people are monsterifying, right? Like, it's the whole thing about what you believe you start to become. It's like this like manifestation. And I believe that all of that is actually attached to the God creature because it's his universe. He's essentially the one granting people all of these powers through his system. So if he deletes his whole system, then nobody will have powers anymore. Now, you can argue with me all you want in the comments about whether or not that's true. I mean, it's more of just a theory. But again, this is literally a fan-made fun project. And it's my interpretation of something that God can do, because I feel that when Saitama defeats the monster god at the end of the series, his powers will be gone. Now, as far as if he created all, like, why can't he just erase Saitama? Well, you'll find out in the next episode. I've seen a lot of comments of people like just jumping the gun. I mean, I guess that's just typical, but people make so many claims and assumptions like without waiting for further explanation. It's pretty wild, man. In any case, if you guys didn't like the writing in the last episode, you're probably not going to like it in the final one. We'll see, because I did something a little bit crazy. Again, this is a fun project. I'm not One or Murata, right? I'm just a fan doing this for fun to hold One Punch Man fans over until season 3 of the anime comes out. And I hope that you guys will watch it and appreciate it as such, okay? I really don't think too highly of myself. This is really just a fun project I know the expectations are tremendously, enormously high for whatever reason. I know it's an angry world, and you got to take out that frustration out somewhere. But, long story short, if this series doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's really not that big of a deal to me. If people don't appreciate it, like, that's fine. Like, maybe I missed one time. It's not the end of the world to me, but I'm happy that I was able to envision a story in my head of how I think that the finale of One Punch Man will go, and then actually get it down onto paper and bring it into life somehow. That was the end goal, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If not, no big deal. This isn't my whole channel. This isn't my lifeblood or anything. I'm not making any money on this. So it's really just honestly for fun. But to summarize the entire video, this is really the best I can do with the resources I have available. If you guys don't like the writing, then you feel free to make your own. You guys can hire Midnight and you guys can make your own. I'm sure he'd be glad to take some more orders because we're almost done with this project. So if you guys have a different way that you would like to write the finale of the series, hit up Midnight, hire him, and do your own, and I'll watch it. I think that covers the majority of things, and the final episode will be out in a week or two. It's going to be the longest episode yet, I think, and it's going to be... Oh, man, you guys are going to be like, what the heck? Yeah, the final episode's kind of crazy. I'm looking forward to the reactions in the comments, but we'll see what happens. In any case, I'm Mastar, and that's all I got to say. Peace.